Our guest on today's program is a woman of integrity, intelligence, and I tell you, when you meet her, you have to roll your tongue 3 times before removing any phrase in English. I fell a victim 13 years ago. She's allergic to bad English. The students of Boya, Southwest Province, your lady is here. Join me to welcome Dr. Asheri Kilo. Welcome, madam.
Thank you very much, Nene.
Welcome, doctor. Good morning.
Thank you.
From a lady, as a lady, let me tell you something that will make you, I don't know how you feel, but every time I see you, there's something that you've got, and I tell you, Danger will accept with me, you've got wonderful legs.
You make me blush now.
I believe that I'm not the only one who's told you that.
Well, maybe a few others have.
A few others have,
Thank
right?
You, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, what's the meaning of your name, Asheri Kilo? Your friends call you Ash.
Right, my very good friends call me Ash.
Mm-hmm.
But Asheri is a name in Lamsa which means forever happy. Be happy.
Oh my.
Yes, that's my name.
Forever happy.
Yes.
Okay.
That's my name.
Mm-hmm. You hail from a very popular family, and you will remember that, or it's still said in Bamenda, if you're very proud or you're doing something that is like you show a lot of arrogance, people tell you, you did do that in Isa Kilo, Isa Nanga, showing that you come from a very popular and rich family. What was it like, your childhood, being rich and colored?
I don't know about being very rich. One of the things that I want to say is that I grew up in the family that shared a lot of love. Mm-hmm. I think the love element is more predominant than the wealth element. But I would agree with you that we had a little above the average Cameroonian, and thank God for that. But unfortunately, that didn't last very long because I only enjoyed it for 11 years before my father died.
Mm-hmm. So your father died in 1977?
That's right.
When you were just about 12 years old?
Absolutely.
But your mother took over and saw you go through college in one of the best in Bamenda, Our Lady of Lourdes College.
All right.
And then you left there, you went to CPC Valley. Mm-hmm. How was it life in a boys' school? Because CPC, we know it's a boys' school.
CPC was great. Not skipping Our Lady of Lourdes. I want to come back to Our Lady of Lourdes.
I know.
I think the best moments of my life were spent in Our Lady of Lourdes. Mm-hmm. Boarding school, especially girls' boarding school, it's very fascinating and interesting. Mm-hmm. That is where you really build your character. That is where you really make good friends and lasting friends. Mm-hmm. The friends that I've kept till this day are friends that I met in Our Lady of Lourdes.
Okay.
Now, after Our Lady of Lourdes, I went to CPC Bali. CPC was a co-educational school, and I think it has remained a co-educational school. I did high school there, and it was a lot of growing up as well. And the challenge there was even more enormous. The boys would roll Gary in balls and shoot us, the girls, and tell us not to go and eat, that we were too fat to be eating, and so we'll abandon our food to the boys. That happened in the first quarter. Uh-huh. But after a month, we told ourselves we cannot sit here and starve to death and let these boys eat our food.
Yes.
So we decided to storm it through, go to the refectory, fight with the boys over food, and get our fair share. And that is where I think I developed this astuity to be there, to stand my ground, and take what is mine.
Yes, and you speak with an accent. A pure British accent. You speak with an accent. Yes, I'm telling you, I've just heard you. You speak with an accent, and I think that comes from Leeds.
It's ages ago that I was in Leeds. I left Leeds in 1992. But yes, I did about 6 years in Leeds. I did my master's degree in Leeds, and I did my PhD in Leeds. Mm-hmm.
Now, you come from a big family of about 17 children. And you just seven children from your mother. You come from a polygamous family.
Right.
Your father was married to
4 wives, 4 beautiful wives.
I tell you,
yes.
That man was a strong man.
He was. I tell you, he was. If I find a man like him today, I'll marry him.
I tell you, my mother said he was handsome.
Tall, was he?
Yes,
was
tall,
he?
Handsome. That's what she said yesterday. Because I said, do you remember Mr. Kilo? She said, yes, that tall, handsome, like fair complexion man. So you have 5 girls, 2 boys.
Yes, to my mother.
Yes, you have Helen,
right.
Solo, Maureen, you, and Larry, Kininla of blessed memory.
Yeah.
I hear she was a piece of beauty.
She was princess. We called her princess. She was a carbon copy of Princess Diana. I'm not lying.
Oh my.
Anybody who met her was moved by her beauty. When you tell me that I look what I look, I'm just like, oh, you never met Kinney. She was something, and we really do miss her.
All right. And the last is Kila.
Kila, yes.
Okay.
She's in Ohio.
Mm-hmm. You come from this big family, and you say among you, the 7 of you guys,
Yes.
just 3 girls came out like you.
Right.
Right?
White,
And
she
we have-
says.
Yes, you're white. And we have a picture here of you when you were a
Yes.
kid. Can you zoom on that, Danger, please? That was when you were about 2 years old?
That was about 2 years old, yes.
But the
Yes.
first that was albinos was Maureen,
Right.
and you came in.
Yes.
How did it feel like? Your mother must have told you. How did it feel like giving birth to an albino baby?
First of all, it was a big surprise to the family when Maureen came, because Maureen is my older sister.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh no. 2 black people and they have a white baby, there's something wrong. And you know, before my mother's day, albinos were killed. They were deemed to be sacrificial objects, so that when there was anything that the society needed cleansing, an albino would be sacrificed. But my mother quickly understood that 2 of her sisters were albino.
Okay.
Unfortunately for her, they died very young. I suppose the care was not good enough, medical facilities were not good enough. And on my father's side, there is the trace of albinism. In fact, one of the women who is like a mother to me and who is my aunt and with whom I share the same name, in fact, she gave me the name Asheri, Mrs. Asheri Kuka, still lives today, and I'm a carbon copy of her.
Oh.
So you see, with the gene from my mother and the gene from my father, there is no way that my mother would have avoided having albino children. But you see, she raised us with love. My father was just like my white little girls, and she treated us like little pearls. He would take us everywhere, my mother too. And there was one time that the Agric show was coming to Bamenda, and my mother boldly said, I'm going to take my pretty white children for exposition and exhibition.
Yeah.
And it was really so funny. That's a degree of love that we had. And this has had a ripple effect. Many other people have loved us.
Yes.
Many other people have treated us like jewels. And I suppose that is the motivating factor indeed.
Maybe that's why I admire you.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Thank you
I
very
do.
much.
Although,
Thank you very much.
Although you scolded at me 13 years ago, but I still admire you. Maybe that's why I even did. Because I was like, she will not want me to do this again.
Right.
So she put the point there and said, don't try it again.
And you know what? I'm really very proud to have you here today, because I chided you, you corrected yourself, you read good English, and today you are one of the best Anglophone journalists that we have. I must tell you.
Dansha, did you get that?
Oh, yes, you're
Did
very
the
good.
people get that?
You're very good.
Yes.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
All right, thank you very much. Let's come back. You had love from your parents
Yes.
and the society. How was it like? Growing up in class?
At primary level, it was extremely difficult. You know, we were different, and our uniforms were different.
Yeah.
I always wear long sleeve to shield myself from the direct heat of the sun. And so we had permission to have long-sleeved uniforms.
Okay.
And, you know, little pretty girls
Right.
going about in the uniforms that were different. That did not attract exactly amour from the rest of my schoolmates.
Yes.
You know, and sometimes they will call you names, oh, Mukala, no chop pepe, you know, and they'll sing all the songs. And I'll tell them, oh, I will chop pepe, and I'm the prettiest in the school. And it became a joke. And they learned very fast that this did not upset me.
Yes.
It instead made me prouder.
Yes.
And then they stopped. So that was primary school. By the time I got to secondary school, I suppose there were a few more albinos around, and so it wasn't a problem at that stage, you know. My friends were my friends. Some of them had come with me from primary school, and we just grew up together with love. I didn't feel any different at all.
Okay.
But amazingly, at the University of Boya, and this was very recent, when there was a strike of 2005, I was going down driving boldly into campus, and the students made a barricade and said, Dr. Kilo, go back. Who do you think you are? You cannot get in here.